I gotta walk like a man. You better speak up when you talk to me. You better lift up your chin. I'm about to take over the globe. I got the whole world in my hand. I've been here before, that's the reason he sent me to do it all over again. I gotta keep my integrity. I gotta walk like a man. You better speak up when you talk to me. You better lift up your chin. I'm about to take over the globe. I got the whole world in my hand. I've been here before, that's the reason he sent me to do it all over again. Can't take you serious, you acting petty, making me laugh like Ed and Eddie. Run out the truth when things are too heavy, like Kevin Hart, he wasn't ready. I take a bullet, I die for my people. You pull the trigger just to get equal. Most of you people fall out cause it's hard. Take pressure like Job, I'm on my job. I can't believe it, in spiritual Egypt, my people are evil than ever before. They kill a nigga for chicken like damn, bruh, I can't even walk to the store. They be out here screaming, Jesus, I love you, when I know that it's a whole bunch of...
Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. I'm Officer Daniel, and today we're going to go over a class called Lean on Me. Lean on Me. Can I get the definition real quick of lean on? Let's read that.
Definition of lean on: rely on or derive support from someone or something.
Okay, all right. Read some of the similar words.
Depend, rely, count, bank, trust, swear by.
Come on.
Be dependent, pin one's faith, have faith in.
So rely on, I just want us to all, we should all know, we should all know basically what this class is going into when you say lean on me. Right. So I just wanted those similar words. So when we start to hear it later in the class, we all on the same page. Right. So let's go over some history real quick. Go to Second Chronicles chapter 16, and we're going to start off with verse 1. 2 Chronicles 16, I want to read verse 1. Let's read that.
The book of 2 Chronicles chapter 16 and verse 1. In the 6th and 30th year of the reign of Asa, Baasha, king of Israel, came up against Judah and built Ramah, to the intent that he might let none go out or come in to Asa, king of Judah.
So we're going to read about our forefather, King Asa, right? Righteous king, he did a lot of good works. He had a good name for himself, right? So we're going to dive a little bit into his history. Read verse 2.
Verse 2. Then Asa brought out silver and gold out of the treasures of the house of the Lord and of the king's house, and sent to Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, that dwelt at Damascus, saying, There is a league between me and thee, as there was between my father and thy father. Behold, I have sent thee silver and gold. Go, break thy league with Baasha, king of Israel, that he may depart from me.
So he had some conflict. King Asa, he had some conflict with the king of Israel at that time. So one decision he made was he said, you know what? I'm going to buy out this agreement that the king of Israel has with Syria. I'm going to buy them out. I'm going to get the gold. I'm going to get the treasures. And I'm going to set Syria's face against them so I can make it easier for me. Right? Watch this. Read on.
Verse 4, and Ben-Hadad hearkened unto King Asa, and sent the captains of his armies against the cities of Israel.
So the heathen, King Ben-Hadad, at that time, the king of Assyria, he said, I'll listen, I'll take it, I'll take the money, it's a lot. And I'll set my face against Israel, right? The northern kingdom. Come on.
And they smote Ijon, and Dan, and Abel-Maim.
Hold on, read 4 again.
Verse 4, and Ben-Hadad hearkened unto King Asa, and sent the captains of his armies against the cities of Israel.
Okay.
And they smote Ijon, and Dan, and Abel-Maim, and all the store cities of Naphtali.
So they began to war against Israel, which allowed King Asa to start to move freely in his area. What he did was he went over to where Israel was building at that time and took the resources, took the wood, the bricks, the stones. He took all of that stuff and he started to extend his kingdom, right? Watch this. Jump down to verse 7.
Verse 7. And at that time, Hanani the seer came to Asa, king of Judah, and has said unto him, because thou hast relied on the king of Syria, and not relied on the Lord thy God, therefore is the host of the king of Syria escaped out of thine hand.
So a seer, ancient time for the word, for the name or the title of a seer, was a prophet. He spoke to the Lord. The Lord showed him things. That's what a seer was, right? So this seer came to Asa and he told him, listen, what you did by relying on the king of Assyria, you went against the Lord. You off. That's basically what he was telling, bro. You off. You messing up. Read it again.
Verse 7. And at that time, Hanani the seer came to Asa the king of Judah, and said unto him, because thou hast relied on the king of Syria, and not relied on the Lord thy God, therefore is the host of the king of Syria escaped out of thine hand.
Read verse 8.
Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubims a huge host, with very many chariots and horsemen? Yet because thou didst rely on the Lord, he delivered them into thine hand.
And then he even went into history with them. Like, bro, don't you remember? Like, that's like when you have a friend. I'm not talking about like a friend in the world, or it could be a friend in the truth. And y'all go through things together. Situations pop up or whatever. And he calls you, hey, bro, I need your help. I need you to take me to the store, or take me to the airport, take me somewhere, help me out, basically. And he say, yeah, just call me. But then the next time you decide, like, say you have a situation, the next time you say, I'm not going to call him this time. I'm going to handle it by myself. I got this. Knowing the last time he dealt with you, y'all both did it. Y'all both handled it, and it got done correctly. But now you want to do it on your own. He said, bro, you don't remember the last time we did it together? It was faster. Instead of you being stuck there at the job or wherever place you went to go deal with this business, instead of you being stuck there for 3-4 hours, we could have did it in one. That's what he started hitting them with history. Remember the last time you went out to war? Remember the last time you was battling, you had trouble with the Ethiopians? What did you do? You went to the Lord. Watch this. Jump back. Let's read a little bit of it. Go to 2 Chronicles. I want to read 14 and 9. Watch this.
2 Chronicles chapter 14 and verse 9. And there came out against them Zerah, the Ethiopian, with an host of 1,000,000.
So this is the actual history that the seer pulled on him. He said, during the time when the Ethiopians rised up against you, you trusted in the Lord. Watch this, read.
And 300 chariots, and came unto Marishah. Then Asa went out against him, and they set the battle in array in the valley of Zephathah at Marishah. And Asa cried unto the Lord his God.
What did Asa do?
Cried unto the Lord his God.
Come on.
And said, Lord, it is nothing with thee to help, whether with many or with them that have no power. Help us, O Lord, our God. For we rest on thee, and in thy name we go against this multitude.
So you say we rest on thee. That's what Asa did. That's the history the seer pulled on him. He said, remember the time when you rested on the Lord, when you leaned on the Lord? You remember the outcome of it? Come on, read.
O Lord, thou art our God. Let not man prevail against thee. So the Lord smote the Ethiopians before Asa and before Judah.
You see that? It said the Lord smote the Ethiopians. But who was actually in the battle? It was Asa. It was his generals, his soldiers. They warred against them. But it said the Lord smote the Egyptians. Read.
So the Lord smote the Ethiopians before Asa.
The Ethiopians, sorry. Come on.
And before Judah, and the Ethiopians fled. And Asa and the people that were with him pursued them unto Gerar. And the Ethiopians were overthrown, that they could not recover themselves.
Come on.
For they were destroyed before the Lord and before his host, and they carried away very much spoil.
And they had much profit from that. They gained men, they gained land, they gained slaves, they gained property, they gained gold, jewels. Why? Because Asa trusted in the Lord. He leaned on the Lord. He rested on him. That's what the scriptures say. Finished it?
And they smote all the cities round about Gerar, for the fear of the Lord came upon them. And they spoiled all the cities, for there was exceeding much spoil in them. They smote also the tents of cattle, and carried away sheep and camels in abundance, and returned to Jerusalem.
Go back. Go back. So the seer pulled that on him, man. You don't remember that time? That time you trusted in the Lord? Do you remember that? So how now you're going to decide to rely on the king of Assyria? What happened to relying on the Lord? What was that wisdom that you had? Read verse 8 again.
2 Chronicles chapter 16 and verse 8. Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubims a huge host with very many chariots and horsemen? Yet because thou didst rely on the Lord, he delivered them into thine hand.
So you got to imagine when he saw at that time when he saw that war happening against the Ethiopians, it said that their horsemen and chariots were many. They were outnumbered. Like you would watch that movie 300. You would see that movie and then you'll see it was only 300 of them against the Persian Media Empire. It was a whole army, but yet they did so much damage. Why? Because during this time, Asa, he trusted in the Lord. That's how he overthrew those Ethiopians. Read on.
Verse 9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him.
We're reading to verse 10.
Herein thou hast done foolishly, therefore from henceforth thou shalt have wars.
So God said, the judgment, Asa, for you trusting in the heathen before you trust in me, now you're going to have constant war. You're going to war for the rest of your reign. That's what he was telling them. Read verse 10.
Then Asa was wroth with the seer and put him in a prison house, for he was in a rage with him because of this thing. And Asa oppressed some of the people the same time.
So when he heard that thing, when the seer prophesied about what the God's judgment, he was pissed off. He said, man, put that man in prison. You got to think like you're a king. He was a king at the time, right? You're a king. Somebody start talking reckless to you. That's what you're going to do, man. In prison, arrest him. That's what King Asa did. And after that, his reign, he started oppressing people. Started oppressing people because he knew that judgment, he knew that he done messed up, basically. Right? Watch this. Read verse 12.
Verse 12. And Asa, in the 39th year of his reign, was diseased in his feet, until his disease was exceeding great. Yet in his disease he sought not to the Lord, but to the physicians.
What did he do?
Sought not to the Lord, but to the physicians.
See, so at the end of Asa's reign, he started to slip. He started to fall. He was off. He stopped trusting in the Lord. He stopped seeking him. Because when he was trusting in the Lord, what did the Lord do? The Lord multiplied him. The Lord gave him that wonderful name that he had, which he still messed up. He kept his name because they buried him with his fathers. He had a wonderful funeral, things of that nature. But at the end, he forgot to trust in the Lord. That was the thing. Read it again.
Verse 12. And Asa in the 39th year of his reign was diseased in his feet, until his disease was exceeding great. Yet in his disease he sought not to the Lord, but to the physicians.
So he trusts that. A lot of our people do that thing today. They trust in the what? Mosquito bite. They trust in these masks that they mandate that you have to put on. That's what our people do. They trust in any and everything except for the Lord. That's why you would catch gout, you would catch STDs, you would get sick, high blood pressure, HIV, whatever it may be. What's your first thought? Your first thought is, let me go to the doctor. Your first thought is, you get a headache, let me get Tylenol. You got a cough, let me get cough drops. Let me get NyQuil. But you never take the steps of what God told you to do in your sickness. Let's get it. Go to Sirach. We'll get it real quick. I believe it's Sirach 38. You never do what the Lord tells you to tell you, what he told you to do while in your sickness. Watch this. Read Sirach 38. I want to read verse 1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 38 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Honor a physician with the honor due unto him of the uses which ye may have of him. For the Lord hath created him.
The Lord, God said, yeah, I made those doctors. I made those doctors that you run to. Watch this. Read on.
For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration.
Come on.
The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them.
So God said he created medicines out of the earth. That's where your that's where your herbal healings come from. That's why you drink the tea. You drink you get the leaves, the herbs, you rub them on your wounds. Esau has taken that and defiled it basically with all his science and abominable works that he adds to those drugs with animal DNA and all this crazy stuff that he adds to it. But God says the way he made the original medicine, he said it's from the earth. Watch this. Read on. Jump to verse 9.
Verse 9. My son, in thy sickness be not negligent, but pray unto the Lord.
Do what?
Pray unto the Lord.
God says when you in your sickness, you should lean on him. That's what it is. Pray. Pray to the Lord. That's what you're supposed to do. Don't put your trust in medicine. Because where did the medicine come? The medicine originally came from the Lord, as well as the sickness. The sickness came from the Lord, and the medicine came from the Lord. So why not go to him first? Pray. It says, pray to him. Read on.
And he will make thee whole.
And God will make you whole. Read.
Leave off from sin.
He says, when you pray to him, you make sure that you leave off from your sins. Why? Because sins bring sickness. That's what it does. You like pork, you like shrimp, crab, lobster. God got gout for you. God got high blood pressure. That's what sin does. It brings sickness. You like smoking weed, he got cancer for you. Read it again.
Verse 10. Leave off from sin. And order thine hands aright, and cleanse thy heart from all wickedness.
Read on.
Give a sweet savor and a memorial of fine flour, and make a fat offering as not being. Then give place to the physician.
When?
Then give place to the physician.
Then go to the doctor. He has steps for you, steps that you take, and then give that honor to a physician. Hey, doc, what do you think? We're not telling you not to go to the hospital. You got a bone sticking out your leg, go to the hospital. But it's steps that you have to take. It's guidelines God said you should do. Trust in the Lord. Trust in him. Pray to him. Leave off from your sin. And then present your body a living sacrifice. And then go to the physician. Let's go back. Second Chronicles. We was on Second Chronicles 16. Where we left off at. Read it.
Second Chronicles chapter 16 and verse 12. And Asa in the 39th year of his reign was diseased in his feet until his disease was exceeding great. Yet in his disease he sought not to the Lord, but to the physicians. And Asa slept with his fathers and died in the 41st year of his reign. And they buried him in his own sepulchres, which he had made for himself in the city of David. And laid him in the bed which was filled with sweet odors and diverse kinds of spices, prepared by the apothecary's art. And they made a very great burning for him.
So Asa, he did have a righteous reign. He did a lot of righteous things, but at the end, he forgot the Lord. He forgot to lean on him. He forgot to trust in him, right? That's what we read. Remember, those words are going to come up. Trusting in the Lord. Go to History of Susanna. History of Susanna. I want to read chapter 1. We'll start off with verse 1.
History of Susanna, chapter 1 and verse 1. There dwelt a man in Babylon called Joachim, and he took a wife whose name was Susanna, the daughter of Shelcius, a very fair woman, and one that feared the Lord. Her parents also were righteous and taught their daughter according to the law of Moses. Now Joachim was a great rich man, and had a fair garden joining unto his house, and to him resorted the Jews, because he was more honorable than all others.
I want to read down to verse 9. Don't pass 9. You're going to run past my class, and we're going to have to backtrack. Just to 9.
The same year were appointed 2 of the ancients of the people to be judges, such as the Lord spake of, that wickedness came from Babylon from ancient judges who seemed to govern the people. These kept much at Joachim's house, and all that had any suits in law came unto them. Now when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went into her husband's garden to walk. And the 2 elders saw her going in every day and walking, so that their lust was inflamed toward her.
So we got these 2 elders. A lot of us read this history before, right? So we got these 2 elders that stayed at this brother's house. I mean, it was always there. They did a lot of governing the people there, right? That's where it said going into those kept much at Jehoiakim's house. And all they had, any suits in law, came unto them, right? So they ran a lot of governing at his house. Why? Because you're about to find out. Because his brother's wife. That's why it was always there. So you better watch who you got in your house. Read 7 again.
Verse 7. Now when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went into her husband's garden to walk. And the 2 elders saw her going in every day and walking, so that their lust was inflamed toward her. And they perverted their own mind, and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven, nor remember just judgments.
So they turned away from the Lord. They stopped relying in his judgments, that wisdom that was bestowed upon them, right? Because we talking about, these are elders of Israel. These men supposed to be well studied in the law, and I'm going to show you they are. They were well studied in the law, but they used it deceitfully. Watch. They were supposed to be well studied in the law, but they turned their steps from the Lord. They stopped trusting in him. Watch this. Verse 10.
Verse 10. And albeit they both were wounded with her love, yet durst not one show another his grief.
So it says they were wounded with her love. Go to Sirach 14 and 1. They were wounded with her love. Sirach chapter 14, verse 1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 14 and verse 1. Blessed is the man that hath not slipped with his mouth, and is not pricked with the multitude of sins.
It says that's not pricked. When you get pricked, a prick is like a cut, or you get poked by something sharp. That's a wound. That's what God's saying. That's a wound. When you get pricked by the multitude of what? Read it again.
And is not pricked with the multitude of sins.
It's not pricked with the multitude of sins. Because these brothers, what? They already committed, what sin they committed? They committed lust. They said they fell in so that their lust was inflamed towards them. So through this process, through the sin that they're dabbling in, what they're going to do, they're going to add sin to another sin, until it engulfs them. That's what it's talking about. It says prick with the multitude of sins. And we're gonna get some of those sins that they fall into, right? But go back to Sirach. History of Susanna.
History of Susanna.
Read verse 10 again.
Chapter 1 and verse 10. And albeit they both were wounded with her love,
Pricked with multitude of sin.
yet durst not one show another his grief. For they were ashamed to declare their lust, that they have desired to have to do with her.
They was ashamed of the desire that they had. Why? Because it was wicked as hell. That's why they was ashamed. Read on.
Yet they watched diligently from day to day to see her.
So they kept it secret. They were doing it separate at first. One man would try to go over there, come at this time, just so they can see her, right? Read on.
Verse 13. And the one said to the other, let us now go home, for it is dinner time. So when they were gone out, they parted the one from the other, and turning back again, they came to the same place.
So there was one time that they was, constantly stalking this sister. This one event happened where they said, all right, man, I'm gone. I'm about to go home, get some dinner. It's dinner time, is getting late. And they found out each other they were lying to one another, basically. It was like, all right, I'm gone. I'm leaving. That's like a brother leaving the school, say, man, I'm out. I'm driving home. You see him get in his car, he pull off. And then, you got the same mind. All right, I'm gone too. And both of y'all wicked, so y'all end up coming back to do something crazy as hell. And y'all find each other there again. Like, bro, what you doing here? I thought you said you was leaving. That's what happened, right? Read it again.
Verse 14. So when they were gone out, they parted the one from the other. And turning back again, they came to the same place. And after that, they had asked one another the cause. They acknowledged their lust. Then appointed they a time both together, when they might find her alone.
So they confessed. They're like, all right, bro, I'm back. I came back. You seen that sister? That's why I came back. I came back. Yeah, you saw her too? Like, yeah, I saw her. That's what it said. Every beast sort of to its kind. They both fell into the midst of that, and now they're in agreements together to say, hey, so what are we gonna do? They start plotting. How can we get this sister? Read on.
Verse 15. And it fell out as they watched a fit time. She went in as before with two maids only.
So they what they did was they started to what is that thing called when you know how the police, they staked her out. Basically, that's what they staked her out. We gonna figure out her time, her schedule, when she come outside, when the brother go to work or go because he was rich. So when he go do his business, when he gone, we gonna stake her out. Read on.
As before with two maids only, as she was desirous to wash herself in the garden, for it was hot. And there was nobody there save the two elders that had hid themselves and watched her. Then she said to her maids, bring me oil and washing balls, and shut the garden door, that I may wash me. And they did as she bade them, and shut the garden doors, and went out themselves at privy doors to fetch the things that she had commanded them.
What verse you at?
Verse 18.
Okay, read.
But they saw not the elders, because they were hid. Now when the maids were gone forth, the two elders rose up and ran unto her, saying, behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us, and we are in love with thee. Therefore consent unto us, and lie with us. If thou wilt not, we will bear witness against thee that a young man was with thee.
See, now that plotting, that scheming, those things, those ideas that they done consented with one another, now it comes out. Now they start to play, they act it out. Say, listen, man, we can get her. You know how we can get her? We can wait till she's alone, this, that, and the third, and we'll jump out and we'll force ourselves on her. We'll give her an ultimatum. We'll give her an ultimatum where she can't say no. Why? Because they studied the law. Watch this. Go to Leviticus. No, I want Deuteronomy. Sorry, Deuteronomy 19 and 15. They said, if you don't lie with us, we will bear witness against thee. Wicked, man. Deuteronomy 19 and 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 19 and verse 15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin. In the sin that he sinneth, at the mouth of two witnesses.
Out of the mouth of how many?
Of two witnesses. Or at the mouth of three witnesses shall the matter be established.
You see that thing? They knew they had both of them now. If both of us raise up a false report on her, it's more likely for them to just put her to death. All because she didn't want to sleep with us. They used the law against her. And she examined that. She examined, she's like, if I fall into your hands, I go against the Lord. But if I don't, y'all gonna put me to death. Because it's 2 witnesses against y'all. That's what the law says. Read it again.
Deuteronomy chapter 19 and verse 15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin. In any sin that he sinneth, at the mouth of 2 witnesses or at the mouth of 3 witnesses shall the matter be established.
Come on.
If a false witness rise up against any man
I want to hold that part. I'm going to come back. Let's go back. I want to hold that one. Read verse 21 again.
History of Susanna, chapter 1 and verse 21. If thou wilt not, we will bear witness against thee that a young man was with thee, and therefore thou didst send away thy maids from thee. Then Susanna sighed and said, I am straitened on every side, for if I do this thing, it is death unto me.
So they started to lump sin. Remember that sin? They were wounded with her love. They were wounded with a multitude of sins. Watch this. Go to I want to read Sirach 18:30. Let's get some of those sins they were laden with, or the multitude of sins they were wounded with. Before we continue reading, Sirach 18:30.
The book of Sirach, chapter 18 and verse 30. Go not after thy lusts, but refrain thyself from thine appetites.
Read on.
If thou givest thy soul the desires that please her, she will make thee a laughing stock to thine enemies that malign thee.
So God says, if you go after your lust, it's gonna be a bad outcome for you. It's gonna shame you. It's gonna shame you, and then you're gonna be put to death. That's what those brothers was falling in the midst of. They're falling in the midst of their lust. Their lust. Watch this. Go to Leviticus. I want to read Leviticus 19 and 11. The multitude, the pricked with a multitude of sin. And that's what happens a lot of times. That's what happens when we lose faith in the Lord, when we begin not to trust in him. We fall into the midst of one sin, and then one sin lumps upon another, and then it lumps upon another, and now you are consumed in it to the point where, you know how leadership says you'll start off up here in the top rows, you'll be the precept king, and then eventually you'll go from a purple shirt to a black shirt to a purple chair to sitting all the way in the back until you walk back out that door, that entry door. Read what you got.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 11. Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another.
So they went from just lusting after a woman, which is adultery, to now raising up false reports, to blackmail, just lumping sin upon sin. Go back. God says you shouldn't do that thing. If you, how it said and they turned away their eye that they may not look unto heaven nor remember just judgment. They started to use those things, use the law maliciously, and forgot all the judgments of it, forgot all the laws. They started breaking every single one, all because they stopped trusting in the Lord. Where we left off at?
Verse 22.
Read verse 22.
History of Susanna, chapter 1 and verse 22. Then Susanna sighed and said, I am straitened on every side, for if I do this thing, it is death unto me. And if I do it not, I cannot escape your hands. It is better for me to fall into your hands and not do it than to sin in the sight of the Lord. With that, Susanna cried with a loud voice, and the 2 elders cried out against her. Then ran the one and opened the garden door.
So Susanna, she knew what to do, what to implement. So she cried out. She cried out. Why? Because it was in the law. It was in the law to do. Let's get that. Deuteronomy 22. She knew exactly what to do. Just like how those wicked elders abused the law to try to blackmail her into sleeping with them. She also knew the scriptures. She trusted in the Lord. Watch this. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then he shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and he shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not.
Because she what?
Cried not.
Come on.
Being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you.
So she knew that. She knew that law. That when you in a situation like that, it's best for you to cry out. Cry out. Rape. These brothers trying to, do something crazy to me. If you remain silent, that means you in agreement with it. Go back to Susanna.
History of Susanna, chapter 1 and verse 26. So when the servants of the house heard the cry in the garden, they rushed in at a privy door to see what was done unto her.
And that means, you see, she did it at that moment. For them sisters that be trying to set brothers up. You over here backdooring the brother, we call it slide door. I heard, I think I heard that on Patient Saints. Brothers say they slide door marriages. Shit. But backdooring brothers and slide dooring brothers, and then 2-3 weeks later, you don't know what happened. You want to press charges. Brother molested you. He touched you the wrong way. Nah, she did it right there. She ain't wait. She ain't sleep with them and then later on raised up a report. What's wrong with you? Read.
Verse 27. But when the elders had declared their matter, the servants were greatly ashamed, for there was never such a report made of Susanna. And it came to pass the next day.
Hold on, where you at? We read to 21. I want to, give me jump to verse 28.
Verse 28. And it came to pass the next day, when the people were assembled to her husband Joachim, the two elders came also full of mischievous imagination against Susanna to put her to death, and said before the people, send for Susanna, the daughter of Shelcius, Joachim's wife, and so they sent. So she came with her father and mother, her children, and all her kindred.
So this sister, she not only had like family members, she had children. These brothers was ready to put her to death or sleep with or rape her. And this sister had children, a husband. She got a whole 9. Husband, mother, father, children. And these brothers didn't care about none of that. Read on.
Verse 31. Now Susanna was a very delicate woman and beauteous to behold. And these wicked men commanded to uncover her face, for she was covered.
You know, even now that all of this started to come out, they like, okay, we tried, right? We tried to set her up. We tried to blackmail her so we could sleep with her. And it didn't work. She didn't go for it. So now we got to go with our plan B that we schemed up. We the 2 witnesses against her so we could put her to death. And they thought they got away scot-free to the point where their lust was so burning in them, they didn't care about this whole trial that they had to go through to prove that those what do you call it? Those claims that they brought up against her was true. They're not worried about none of that. They worried about still looking at this sister. That's they thought. That's how lost they are in their sin. They not worried about, they didn't finish reading the rest of the law, which we're going to go back to, where if that claim that you just brought up was false, they not worried about none of that. Watch this, read.
That they might be filled with her beauty. Therefore her friends and all that saw her wept. Then the 2 elders stood up in the midst of the people and laid their hands upon her head. And she, weeping, looked up toward heaven.
What verse you on now?
Verse 35.
Okay, read on.
For her heart trusted in the Lord.
Her heart did what?
Trusted in the Lord.
So we know Susanna, she leaned on the Lord. She trusted in him, right? That's why when she had that decision to make where she was going to sin against her own body, she was going to choose the Lord or she was going to choose those men. Her reputation, all that thing, was her life was on the line and she knew it. But even in that situation, she still chose the Lord. She trusted in him. Read.
Verse 36. And the elders said, as we walked in the garden alone, this woman came in with 2 maids and shut the garden doors and sent the maids away. Then a young man who there was hid came unto her and lay with her.
I want to jump to verse 45.
Verse 45. Therefore, when she was led to be put to death, the Lord raised up the Holy Spirit of a young youth whose name was Daniel.
So now that this trial is about to happen, her life is on the line. God says, due to the fact that Susanna trusts in me, I'm going to raise up a young spirit named Daniel. Right? Watch this. Read.
Verse 46. Who cried with a loud voice, I am clear from the blood of this woman. Then all the people turned them toward him and said, what mean these words that thou hast spoken? So he, standing in the midst of them, said, are ye such fools, ye sons of Israel, that without examination or knowledge of the truth ye have condemned a daughter of Israel?
So he knew, he brought his wisdom to these elders. It was a young man brought his wisdom. He said, why have you not examined the matter? Examine the matter. Because why? It's written in your law. You should know this, you elders of the people. How do you just go? Because why? They was going off these men's reputations. They were elders that they had a reputation amongst the people. These 2 elders. It was like, okay, he has fame amongst the people. This elder and the other elder has fame amongst the people. This thing that they brought up to us, it has to be true. That's what it was going off of. They didn't ask any questions. They didn't examine that matter. Watch this. Hold that. I want to go to it. Deuteronomy. I don't got this one written down, so I'm pulling it from the hip. 19. That's what I want. Let me see. Read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 19 and verse 16.
Let's see if this brother know what I'm talking about or know what I'm thinking.
If a false witness rise up against any man
Nope, that's not what I want. I want to read verse 18.
Verse 18. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition. And behold, if the witness be a false witness and hath testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother.
You see, God says that the judges, you as judges, that's what Daniel was telling them. You as judges, you should make a diligent inquisition, examining the matter. That's what he expected of them. But they didn't do that. They went off the reputation of the elders. Go back.
History of Susanna, chapter 1 and verse 49. Return again to the place of judgment, for they have borne false witness against her. Wherefore all the people turned again in haste. And the elders said unto him, come, sit down among us, and show it us, seeing God hath given thee the honor of an elder. Then said Daniel unto them, put these 2 aside one far from another, and I will examine them. So when they were put asunder one from another, he called one of them, and said unto him, O thou that art waxen old in wickedness, now thy sins which thou hast committed aforetime are come to light.
So Daniel said, you know what? Since y'all don't want to examine the matter, I'm going to examine the matter. I'm going to do it for y'all. So he separated them. And he asked for an account of actually what happened from each one of them to see if those accounts matched. And he already knew, the Lord already told him the spirit of those elders. That's why he was blasting them. He started off blasting them. Blast City. Read it again.
Verse 52. So when they were put asunder one from another, he called one of them and said unto him, O thou that art waxen old in wickedness, now thy sins which thou hast committed aforetime are come to light. For thou hast pronounced false judgment, and hast condemned the innocent, and hast let the guilty go free. Albeit the Lord saith, the innocent and righteous shalt thou not slay. Now then, if thou hast seen her, tell me, under what tree sawest thou them companying together?
So the account he asked for, he said, okay, if you seen her do it, I'll take what you saying for granted. Let's say you telling the truth. Where did you see her commit adultery at? Where in the garden? Under what tree? Read on.
Who answered, under a mastic tree. And Daniel said, very well.
So he said it was under that tree right there. That mastic tree over there by the gate. Read.
And Daniel said, very well, thou hast lied against thine own head. For even now the angel of God hath received the sentence of God to cut thee in two.
He said, all right, that was your chance to repent. You still want to go with your lie? No problem. God got judgment waiting for you. Read.
So he put him aside and commanded to bring the other, and said unto him, O thou seed of Canaan, and not of Judah.
So all right, bring his accomplice. Bring that other elder over here. Let's see if he's going to give us the same account that this one gave us. Read.
Beauty hath deceived thee, and lust hath perverted thine heart. Thus have ye dealt with the daughters of Israel, and they for fear companied with you. But the daughter of Judah would not abide your wickedness.
We read into verse 62.
Yes, sir. Now therefore tell me, under what tree didst thou take them companying together?
So he said, give me your account. Where y'all seeing this adultery happening at in the garden? Read.
Who answered, under a holm tree.
So his account was different. It was different from the elder that he just questioned. Said, nah, it wasn't over that tree, that first tree he told me by the gate. Said it was over that other tree by the house. Come on.
Verse 59, then said Daniel unto him, well, thou hast also lied against thine own head, for the angel of God waiteth with the sword to cut thee in two, that he may destroy you. With that all, the assembly cried out with a loud voice and praised God, who saveth them that trust in him. And they arose against the two elders, for Daniel had convicted them of false witness by their own mouth.
So Daniel said he convicted him of false witness. And the law says that whatever y'all was planning to do to Susanna, which was death, her life was on the line, now we have to do to the false witnesses. Because they abused the law. They turned their steps away from the Lord. They stopped trusting in him and went after their lusts. Read.
Verse 62, and according to the law of Moses, they did unto them in such sort as they maliciously intended to do to their neighbor. And they put them to death. Read. Thus the innocent blood was saved the same day.
So that's what happens when you turn. When you turn away from the Lord, you turn your steps from the Lord, you forget to trust in him. You forget to lean on him. And you lean towards your own desires, your own lusts. So it sets you up to destroy yourself. Go to Romans 15:4. But Susanna, she trusted in the Lord. And the Lord favored, gave her favor in that situation when her life was on the line. And he saved her with the spirit of Daniel. With Daniel, using Daniel through the spirit of the Lord. Read 15:4.
The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
So God says these things that are written is written for us to learn from. It's not just here. This is not just what do you call it? I forgot what it's a figment of your imagination. What do they call those books that's not real? Fiction. Right. This is not fictionary books, fictionary stories. This is real life. God said these things are written for you to learn from. This history is documented. God didn't just have these prophets write these words in this story, this history down for no reason. You got to learn from it. Learn from how your ancestors trusted in the Lord and how it worked out in their favor. And when they stopped, when they turned themselves from the Lord and say, you know what? I think my idea is better. I think my thoughts are better than the Lord's thoughts. I think my thoughts are higher than the Lord's. My counsel is great. And God says he's going to show you what's going to happen to you when you get that type of mindset. You're going to fall. You're going to fall. Go to Proverbs 3:5. Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 5. It's never going to work for you. It's never going to work for you because your mind is not set up to function that way. You were created to lean on him, to trust in the Lord. That's the reason you were created. Watch this. Read.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding.
God says trust in him and don't lean to your understanding. Now, why would you think God would tell you not to lean to your understanding? Why? Just think about it. Hold that. We're gonna come back here. But I want to read Mark 7. Why would God tell you not to lean to your understanding? 21. Read that.
The book of Mark, chapter 7 and verse 21. For from within, out of the heart of men,
out of your understanding,
proceed evil thoughts.
Because the heart that you think God's talking about, which is your vessel. Every time you speak to somebody on the street, but you have to love. Love comes from the heart. That's a muscle that pumps blood. That's what that is. God says your heart is your mind. And out of that heart proceeds what?
Evil thoughts.
Evil thoughts, evil things. That's why he tells you not to lean on it, not to trust in it. Trust in him. Trust in his counsel. Trust in what he tells you to do. Because if you don't, these are the things you're going to fall in the midst of. Read.
Adulteries.
You're going to be an adulterer. That first thought when you see a brother's wife and you think she's attractive, adultery is your first thought. Read.
Fornications. Murders.
Sisters, you see big booty Judy, fornication. That's your first thought. Read.
Thefts.
Read.
Covetousness. Wickedness. Deceit. Lasciviousness, an evil eye.
You know how we know, that's your first thought when it comes to majority of things that go through your life is wickedness. You ever been walking, like you walking down the street, says deceit is in your mind, right? It's always going to try to deceive you. You ever walk down the street and you see money on the floor? What's your first thought? You step on it. Your first thought is you put your foot on it, try to reach down, grab it, and put it in your pocket quick. Why? What you doing it quick for? It's just on the floor. You don't know who it belongs to. You don't know who it belongs to. But that's your first thought. It's because it's evil in your mind. Wickedness is in your mind, man. Wickedness is in your mind. That was it on that?
Blasphemy. Pride. Foolishness.
That's God says blasphemy. Pride is in your mind. You do foolish things. That's why he's telling you not to lean on your own understanding. Go back. Go back to Proverbs 3:5.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding.
Don't lean onto your understanding. Lean on the Lord's understanding. Read.
In all thy ways acknowledge him.
It says in all ways. In all ways. We lack in those. We lack, us as a people, we lack in that majorly. Because we think we know best. I've been in school. I've been a grad student for 12 years. Nobody can't tell me nothing. You think you know best. That's why you don't counsel. You don't speak to nobody about nothing. You could be sick at home, won't say nothing, won't tell nobody, won't ask nobody to pray for you. Nothing. Why? Because you trust in yourself. You are, what do you call it? What is that? Self-made Israelite. Yeah, you are individualite. That's what you are. Because believe it or not, trusting in the Lord goes into all of those things. Gathering yourselves together with your people. Speaking one often, we said, them that trust in the Lord speak often one to another. All of that falls into play. It's a lot of scriptures, a lot of wisdom that God gave us in going into leaning on him, depending on him. And we got to begin to learn how to do that. Read.
And he shall direct thy paths.
That's he giving you directions. But you know how I know Israelites hate directions? How many times you done got something, you done bought something from Walmart, like a table or a dresser or a lamp, something you got to put together. You know, it comes disassembled. How many times you opened the instructions and read it? Or you sat there and you tried to put that thing together by yourself? You just took screws out and said, man, this look like it goes there. And you start screwing. People hate instructions. Read it again.
Verse 6, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Come on.
Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil.
It says, fear the Lord, depart from evil. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Right? Read verse 8.
Verse 8, it shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones.
It says, God says it's health. It's health to stop leaning on your own understanding and start relying on God's directions. It's health to you because you could avoid a lot of complications you go through. You could avoid it. It can be avoided. I want to read Jeremiah. But our people, you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you God's people. You are the Israelites according to the Bible. You choose to lean on your understanding and you just create a new level of evil. You twist doctrine. Watch this. Jeremiah 4:22. This is why God tells you not to lean on your understanding. Jeremiah 4:22.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 4 and verse 22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding.
No understanding.
They are wise to do evil.
They are what?
Wise to do evil.
That's what we do. That's why God says trust in him. Trust in him and don't lean to your own understanding, because with that understanding, with the adultery, with the fornication, with the what it says, foolish acts, all those evil things that you have within your mind, you put evil wisdom on it. You wise to do evil. Oh, I can't cook on the Sabbath day? Okay, I'll just sit this plate right here on the dashboard and wait for it to get room temperature. Right. I forgot it was there. Oh, it's already hot now. I can eat it. That's what our people are wise to do evil. Those thoughts in your mind, you wise to do it. You wise to inflict wickedness upon this earth, man. Read it again.
Verse 22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge.
But that wisdom, God says that wisdom, you will never apply it to doing something good. You will never do it unless you put those thoughts away. You let those thoughts go. You let that understanding go that you have learned here in Babylon, and you begin to lean on the Lord. Lean on the Lord's understanding. Trust in him. Go back to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 3, I want to read verse 11.
Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 11. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth.
See, so God says when he's telling you to do that, it's not like, because you know how many brothers be married and you'll tell the wife, listen, you know how your wife will come to you? She'll come to you, oh, babe, I got a good idea. Listen. And you know us, man, we like, all right, what is it? What you got? And she'll, oh, this, that, and the third, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, nah, I don't like it. No. Just no, I don't like it. She's like, oh, but I thought it was a good idea. No, it's not. It's not a good idea. All right? This is the better way to do it. You give an instruction. And you know, sister, fall out of the spirit. Out of the damn spirit. So we're not telling you to do it this way to make it more grievous for you. That's what the Lord is saying. His instruction, the way he telling you not to smoke, not to defile your body. Don't do it. Don't kill one another. It says love one another. Don't do it. All this instruction he's giving you is not for your destruction. Read it again.
Verse 11. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth.
It says, whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth. This wisdom, this understanding, he only gave to the people that he loved. You blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He only telling you to let go of those thoughts, let go of that understanding. Why? Because that understanding is evil. Lean on, trust in what he's saying. Trust, it says, Bishop Kanai, he did a wonderful class. It was a beautiful class. And when I was writing it, it came to me and he said, what it was, trust in the process. Trust in the process. That's what the Lord is saying. Trust in the process. Watch this. Go to Baruch. Go to Baruch chapter 4. That's what the Lord's telling you. Don't worry about what I'm telling you. Don't worry about the instruction. It's right. You just got to trust in it. You got to lean on me. Baruch 4, read verse 6.
The book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 6. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved God to wrath. Ye were delivered unto the enemies.
He said you were sold to the nations, not for your destruction. He didn't put you in captivity. He didn't put you in captivity and told you to trust in him. I'm just going to leave you there. I'm going to make you suffer 9 to 5s. You're going to have to deal with the 9 to 5. You're going to have this nation reigning over you with their knee in your neck, gunning you down in the street, setting you in, redlining you in these impoverished cities or neighborhoods, putting you in these buildings that look abandoned, feeding you all this defiled food. It's not for no reason. He's not doing it for your destruction. But when you begin to lose trust in him, because we spoke with a brother at camp. It was I believe it was Thursday, it was Wednesday night or Tuesday night, one of those nights. And he said, man, why would you serve a God that would throw you into captivity and kill you on a regular? I said, why would you do that? It's because, right. Said, why wouldn't you? Because he has the power to, but it's not to destroy you. It's not to destroy you. It's for your benefit. Read it again.
Verse 6. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved God to wrath. Ye were delivered unto the enemies. For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to God.
Because it's just judgment. It has to happen. But the outcome of coming out of this is going to be more glorious than before. It's just judgment. You got to trust in the Lord, trust in the process. Like Bishop said. Will you read down to verse? I want to read to verse 8.
Verse 8. Ye have forgotten the everlasting God that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you.
Read it again.
Verse 8. Ye have forgotten the everlasting God that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you.
Because we see God had to do those things to us because we've forgotten. We've forgotten God. We forgot how to trust in him. We forgot how to depend on him, how to rely on him. That's why we go to all these nations for everything. Now we comfortable here in the captivity. Imagine if God never woke us up, gave us affliction in this captivity. Our people will be okay with being under this nation, being under these Edomites. We'll be okay here. They love the food stamps. They love the stimmy checks they get every 6 months. They love the income tax. They love the crumbs and the pennies that these nations throw at their feet, or throw at them. And they have no problem being underfoot, laying down so these nations can walk over. God says, no, I made you for a bigger purpose than that. Bigger purpose. He said, Israel, are you just a homeborn slave? That's what you think I created? When I made you a noble vine, and you accept to be a degenerate plant. You accept that you fine in that state because you don't trust the process. You don't trust him. Read verse 19.
Verse 19. Go your way, O my children. Go your way, for I am left desolate. I've put off the clothing of peace, and put upon me the sackcloth of my prayer. I will cry unto the everlasting in my days.
So this is the land, Jerusalem. It says, go your way, go children, because when the Lord removed us from the land, this is through the spirit of Baruch. The land is saying, we have been removed from her, and she has remained desolate since we have left. Read on.
Be of good cheer, O my children.
Uh-huh.
Cry unto the Lord, and he shall deliver you from the power and hand of the enemies.
Come on.
For my hope is in the everlasting, that he will save you. And joy is...
See that? God's, the land, even the land says, for my hope is in the everlasting. That the land is sure that we will return back to her. Even the land trusts in the Lord, leans on the Lord. But us as a people, we depend, we rely on ourselves. We trust in America. We we pledge allegiance to America. That's what we do. We don't pledge allegiance to the Lord. We pledge allegiance to America. Read.
For my hope is in the everlasting, that he will save you. And joy is come unto me from the Holy One, because of the mercy which shall soon come unto you from the everlasting, our Savior.
Go to Isaiah 30:1. Isaiah 30:1. Everyone trusts in the Lord. Everything that God created trusts in him except for his people. Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me.
I'm going to show you who God's people trust in, because they don't trust in the Lord. They don't lean to him. I'm going to show you who you lean to, because I made a statement. I said you pledge allegiance to America. Let's find out. Let's see if you do. Read it again.
Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing that the elders did. They turned. What it said? They turned their eyes from heaven. It says that us as a people, we cover with a covering, but not of the Lord. We cover with the covering of Christianity, Catholicism, Pentecostal, atheists. These are the things that we cover ourselves with as a people. I'm African American. Where did God call you that? Where? When? You don't even know what it means. We cover ourselves in politics. I'm left wing. He right wing. We cover ourselves with any and everything except for the Lord. But yet, you will slap a bumper sticker on your car and say, what would Jesus do? Shame. You should be ashamed of yourself. Read it again.
Verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin.
Read.
That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
And to do what?
Trust in the shadow of Egypt.
It says to trust in the shadow of Egypt. That's what Israel always did. They did it back then when Moses took them from Egypt and brought them into the wilderness. What did they start to do? They started to complain. They started to murmur. They started to desire the things that they had in Egypt. Where's the fish? Where's the bread? Where's all of those things? They didn't want the angel bread that the Lord gave them. They didn't want the water from the rock that the Lord gave them. The manna, they didn't want none of that. They wanted that. They wanted to go back to Egypt. And now it's the same thing. That's why the Lord say trust in the shadow of Egypt. Go to Revelations. It ain't nothing different. He said back then you was rebellious and you didn't trust in me and you trusted in Egypt. Even till this day, you don't trust in me. You trust in America. Go to Revelations 11 and 8. Revelations chapter 11, verse 8.
Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
It says, and your bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city. What great city? Go to Revelations 17. The great city. Let's see what great city. 17, I want to read verse 3.
Revelation chapter 17 and verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy.
So John said he saw a woman sitting on a scarlet-covered beast. Scarlet just means red, right? So this was a red beast. Scarlet is a similar color or in the color family of red, right? Read.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
And it had 7 heads. Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, Great Britain. Those are the 7 heads, right? Read.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls.
Meaning she was rich or great, right? That's because color purple is a color of royalty. That's what purple means. That's why after that it says that she had pearls, gold cup, and precious stones, meaning she was rich or great. Read it again.
Verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colored, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
She was filled of fornications. Read verse 5.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Jump to verse 18.
Verse 18. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city.
Is a what?
That great city.
That great city.
Which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
What nation reigns over all the earth? What city or kingdom reigns over the entire earth? It's America. America, that's what it's talking about. Go back to Revelations 11. That's the city that the spirit, those bodies are lying in. That is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. That's what that city is. It's talking about America, Babylon the Great. Go back, read verse 8 again.
Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
The Israelites, your dead bodies, we walk around as the walking dead, a dead nation. Don't know who we are, don't know where you from, don't know why you continuously have to march. No justice, no peace. We blind, we have no vision. We're spiritually dead as a people. Read.
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
And this place that we are in, God says it's spiritually called Sodom and it's spiritually called Egypt. That's the place that we trust in today. As our fathers trusted in Egypt then, we as a people trust in America today. Go back to Isaiah 30. That's who we leaning on. You singing that song, Lean On Me. You leaning on America. That's what you're doing. And America's going to fall, and you're going to fall with it. Isaiah 30 and 1. We left off at verse what, 3?
Verse 2.
Yeah, read verse 2 again.
Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 2. That walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
Trusting in America. Read.
Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame.
It should be what?
Your shame.
God says America is going to be your shame. When you trust in her, you rely on her. You stand there and you say, America's going to protect me from all nations. That's why you'll hear about the wars and the rumors of wars. All America bombing all these nations over there overseas in these third world countries. And it's like, oh, this will never come to the doorstep of America. It's so great. It's so marvelous. We're so rich. God says, you trust in that if you want to. Because when this place falls, when that war comes over here, you're going to fall with it. Read.
And the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion.
And that's why we confused today as a people. We confused. We're in a bubble. America has these people so much in a bubble, they're clueless to what goes on in the world. Clueless. Go to Proverbs. I want to go to Proverbs 14 and 12. What did we leave off on Isaiah? Oh, we didn't read 4 and 5. I want to read 4 and 5, and then we're going to go to Proverbs 14.
Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 4. For his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be in help nor profit, but a shame and also a reproach.
So God says, that time we put our trust in Egypt, says we were ashamed of a people that could not profit them. That's why we always go, oh, no justice, no peace. We ask for justice, but it never comes. This is a nation that can never profit you. You trust in their politics. You trust in their educational system. You trust in their justice system, but it always does you wrong. Every single avenue. Every single one. They teach your children wrong. They don't teach them about black history at all. It's a watered down history. And the politics, they never pass laws. They will pass LGBT laws. They'll pass Asian hate community laws, but they will never pass a law where a black man or a Hispanic man can get justice here in America. Never. Go to, Proverbs 14?
Yes, sir. Verse 12.
Yeah, read that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and verse 12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death.
You see that? God says it may seem right to you in your distorted mind because it's clogged with all that evil you have, the adultery. Every second you thinking about smoking weed, but you a leader of the people now. It may seem right. You may think you a bishop while you smoking on your couch, smoked out. Talk about I'm a leader of the people. What people? Who you leading? It may seem right to you. Your understanding may seem right. Read.
Even in laughter, the heart is sorrowful, and the end of that mirth is heaviness. The backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways.
It says a backslider in his heart shall be filled with his own ways. Not God's wisdom, but his understanding. Read.
And a good man shall be satisfied from himself. The simple believeth every word.
See, when you fill your heart with your own ways, you fall into the midst of all things, anything. You'll believe everything. We the original man. Saturday, the Sabbath starts Sunday morning. What did they say? Friday morning? I don't know what they said. Saturday morning. Passover, we could eat chicken and rice, and green eggs and ham. because you reading out of any and every book. Brother done took his child's book and said, this is wisdom from God. Green eggs and ham is wisdom from God. All right. We got green eggs and ham for Passover. Read it again.
Verse 15. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but the
I just want to stop at 15. Read 14 and 15 again.
Verse 14, the backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways, and a good man shall be satisfied from himself. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going.
But a prudent man, a man that trusts in the Lord, he's going to research. He's going to confirm that this understanding is right. We didn't just take this wisdom and say, it has to be right. It's right. Nah, when I was coming to this truth, scripture say, 1 Thessalonians 5:21, prove all things. That's what God's wisdom does. It proves your nationality. It proves that not defiling your temple will extend your life. It proves that honor thy mother and thy father, and thy days shall be long upon the earth. That wisdom is proven. Why? Because your mother and your father is going to teach you the ways of life. All that wisdom is proven. Go to Sirach 5 and 2. Sirach chapter 5 and verse 2. We read 7.
The book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 2. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength, to walk in the ways of thy heart, and say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Lord. Who's
gonna? What he said? The word said it was directions. Who's gonna direct me? God says, say not that, because I gave you directions. I told you what to do. Read.
For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride.
Because surely in your pride, when you think your understanding is above the Lord, when you decide not to lean on what the Lord says, it says, surely you're going to fall into my judgments. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You're going to get sick, and you're going to forget the process that I told you. You're going to forget the understanding. You're going to be sitting in that 5x8 cell with 2 witnesses against you, and you're going to turn your back on me. You're going to forget it. You're going to forget what to do. Read.
Verse 4. Say not, I have sinned, and what harm hath happened unto me? For the Lord is long-suffering, he will in no wise let thee go.
That's them brothers. I've been smoking for 20 years. Ain't nothing happened to me. I ain't never catch cancer. I ain't never had to go to the hospital. I could ball. I could box. I think who is that said that? That was Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson said, I've been smoking weed and boxing for 10 years. Or something like that. It was 5 years, 6 years. Ain't nothing happened to me. I'm in perfect shape. God says don't do that. Read.
Verse 5. Concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin unto sin.
God says concerning repentance, turning back. Be not without fear to add sin to sin. Read.
And say not, his mercy is great. He will be pacified for the multitude of my sins. For mercy and wrath come from him, and his indignation resteth upon sinners.
And God says his indignation rest upon sinners. That judgment is coming. Don't take that mercy that God gave you for granted. And say, well, God is, we say, that's your wisdom when you say, God, come as you are and stay as you are. God is going to accept me the way I am. That Christianity doctrine is going to get you killed messing around with the Lord. Go to 2 Ezra chapter 14 and verse 14. It's going to get you killed. You bring your understanding to the Lord. God telling you to change, repent. You said, no, God is going to accept me the way I am. Okay, we'll see. Read.
2 Ezra chapter 14 and verse 14. Let go from thee mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee.
God says, take away from you the mortal thoughts. Cast away those burdens. Why? Because you're supposed to put those things on the Lord. God says, does not the birds eat? Do he not feed the birds? not the grass grow? What then is a simple thing like the Lord making sure you okay? Is that not in his power? Start trusting in him. Read it again.
Verse 14. Let go from thee mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature. And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee.
Read.
And haste thee to flee from these times.
Come on.
For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter.
And that's how much more important it's going to be. Because Ezra said, you think it's bad now. You think it's bad now. He said, there's even worse times to come. The world is going to fall in what? Even gross darkness. You think it's bad now. Your sisters are comfortable. That's why you could come to Tabernacles and complain about AC. The tent is too hot. We in captivity and you got it great now. But what happens when this place begin to burn? How hot it's going to be then? You going to complain then too? Ezra said it's about to get worse, man. Put off those mortal thoughts. You're going to have to start trusting in the Lord. You're going to have no other choice because it's about to get worse here. This comfortability you got in America is getting ready to go out the window. I know you trust in your check coming every week, your food stamp card getting loaded every month, your light switch, when you flip it, the lights come on. You comfortable in your convertible drop top Bentley coupe with the AC. Ezra said that thing is about to go out the window. It's about to get worse. And God is going to make you lean on him. Jump to verse 34.
Verse 34. Therefore, if so be that ye will subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, ye shall be kept alive, and after death ye shall obtain mercy.
See, so you have to subdue your mind for that. Why? Because your mind is in America. Your mind is in Babylon. That's what you trust in. You trust in these things that you have, these carnal things that you touch on a day-to-day basis. That's why you're so attached to your cell phone. You trust. If you don't know something, you could just pull up Google and Google it. You don't know a word, you just pull up Google. It's there. You trust in that. You trust in the television you go home to entertain you. You trust in that bank account that you got with all those zeros in it. You trust in that money that Babylon gave you. Those are the things that you trust in, worldly things. But what's going to happen when the Lord finally decides to remove that stuff? Are you going to begin to trust in him? Are you going to wait till then? Or do you trust in him now? And those things are just things of the world. Go to Romans. Go back to Romans 15. We're going to read verse 1. No, before that, I want to read Ecclesiastes 4 and 9. Leaning, how do we lean upon the Lord, right? We're going to go a little bit into it, and then I'm going to get ready to close out. How do we lean upon the Lord? Because a lot of people may not know how to do that, right? A lot of people don't know how to do it. Watch this. Ecclesiastes 4:9.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 9. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up.
So God says two are better than one, so you have assistance. You have somebody to lean upon. It's not just yourself, right? Romans 15 and 1. Romans 15 and 1.
The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 1. We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak and not to please ourselves.
See, God says that we should bear the infirmities of the weak, being two, leaning upon one another. Read.
Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good, to edification. For even Christ pleased not himself, but as it is written, The reproaches of them that reproached thee fell on me.
So not even Christ just thought about himself. We leaned on one another. We relied on one another. We bared one another's burdens. Genesis 6:2. Galatians 6:2. Galatians chapter 6, verse 2.
The book of Galatians, chapter 6 and verse 2. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. But let every man prove his own work. And
I wanted Galatians 6:2 and verse 3. That's it. Read it again.
Galatians chapter 6 and verse 2. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself.
See, so God says, bear ye one another's burdens. Begin to lean upon one another. That's why I put you there. To trust in him, because he's going to send you help. Just like how he sent Susanna help with Daniel. He's going to send you help. Just like how he attempted to send Asa help with the seer to warn him what he was doing was wrong. God is going to send you help, right? Galatians chapter 5 and verse 14.
Galatians chapter 5 and verse 14.
That'll be my last script.
For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
You see that? God says that we have to begin to learn to lean on one another, because when he's doing that, he's sending you help. He's sending you someone to lean on. He's sending someone for you to save you out of that situation that you might be in. That's how you trust in him, and he leans on you so he can send you that relief eventually, whether it be financial relief, whether it be scriptural relief. You could be doing a bad time. You need some scriptural understanding to boost your spirit. The Lord said he got you. He's not going to let you just trust in America or trust in the carnal things that you have here in this world. He's going to let you trust in him and send you that relief.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.